Everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It's Christy here to do the extended monthly forecast for the sign of Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is a general reading, so whatever is most prominent in your chart, in your life currently, I encourage you to take these messages and apply them to, and I hope that you find them helpful and healing. If you do want a personal reading, however, or if you have a pressing concern or question, you can always reach me at my email address, which is always in the description box below, and we can set up an appointment for you. I'm also going to add a link in the description box to a website called Collective Evolution. This does a really good job at explaining what the energies are going to be like over the next couple of months with 6 major planets in retrograde. If you feel that there's anything wonky energy with you, there's some deja vu, there's some hiccups in relationships or opportunities, check out that website and see if that has anything to do with what's going on, because it is a temporary transit. That being said, I am going to concentrate for a second here and ask what Aquarius needs to know for the month of July. What does Aquarius need to know? July 2018. Aquarius 2018. And the 6 just jumped out there, the 6 of Cups. That's nostalgia, longing. Could be a reunion, or it could be a longing for a reunion, but it's an emotional energy. You could even just simply be missing somebody. I also like to see if it shows up in the general reading for you as well. That one, oh, these flipped over. Look at that, lots of water, lots of emotional energy around you this month, it looks like, Aquarius. Walking away from something that isn't working for you anymore, but taking the lessons that comes with it. And then a fantasy world. But 6, 7, 8 of the cups there, so very possibly emotional development for you this month. But again, as I always say, we'll see if they pop up in your reading. Let's see what is in store for Aquarius. That turned over as well. Holy smokes. 10 of Fire and a Chariot. Yeah, you could be dealing with a Cancerian, or someone with Cancerian energy, someone who's a moon child, someone who's intuitive. Maybe they're a witcher, a warlock. There could be some occult energy there as well. Could be dream time. Something felt like a victory, someone who even represents a victory to you, but that 9 of Wands showed up with it, so it's almost like a burden. Something feels heavy about that. Anyway, let me just concentrate here. I will try not to pay attention to jumpers. What does Aquarius need to know? There we go. So I'm going to be doing a 6-card spread for you today. And then, of course, drawing a card from the Oracle decks for you. Bottom of the deck is our underlying energy for the month. This is actually a really beautiful card to have, really in any position. And as always, I will do a nice little overview of these cards together, what they look like they are saying together, and then we will look at them in detail in their respective positions. So what I'm seeing here for an overall vibe that I'm getting from all of these cards together is that something is definitely going to work itself out here. A new opportunity appears to you. You're definitely sailing away from energy, or you were, this is past energy, you were sailing away from energy that felt cumbersome or taxing. Anytime we're dealing with air, we're dealing with something that's going on in your mind, thoughts, beliefs, that type of thing. So it looks like you put something to rest here. You gave yourself a break. But we do have this in the heart of the reading, which is the card following what you had just left behind. So it's slow moving energy, whatever you're working through internally right now. It looks like it's a little bit slow moving. The Seven of Swords can be read in just a variety of different ways. Some of the major terminology for Seven of Swords are taking chances, being risky, gambling or the gambler, in severe situations, and only you will know if this applies to you or not, that there could be some deceit, deception, or even lying or trickery. But again, because this is air energy, this is something that's either being spoken between you and another person, or it's something that's going on within your own mind. So just beware here, because it's the heart of the reading, that there isn't any tricky or deceptive language, or banter or communication, essentially. And really that applies to, you know, your interaction with other people, and of course it applies to anything that's going on internally to you. Just be careful here that you don't trip yourself up. On the other hand, it can be very lively energy. Even if it is a gamble, for example, it can be a very exciting gamble. It can be a very exciting element or level to your awareness, or to your, say, belief process. You know, maybe you have a greater belief in yourself. I mean, we do have this as the underlying energy, which is a very passionate, it's actually quite a sexy card. So there's a lot of passion here. So it's maybe you're just deciding like how to communicate that to someone else, how it's going to sound to someone else. Maybe if this is energy that's being brought into your environment and it's outside energy, it could be that you weren't expecting it, or you might want it toned down a little bit. But if it's something that you're projecting either within a relationship or in a setting with other people or in your own mind, I think it's important to you right now, at least this month, to want to be able to express this. You want to be able to express this type of fiery, passionate, you know, that Knight of Wands is like, you know, how you doing? It's like that. It's like it's kind of shameless. It's kind of, but it's also very attractive, kind of for the same reason, right? Like it's kind of that, it's the incorrigible flirt, you know? So it's actually kind of fun energy, but it's also so fast moving. And if you're not prepared for it, or if it's clashing on some level, like this could be behavior and this could be your thoughts about it, or your even beliefs about it. Like maybe you believe that it's bad, or you believe that it's wrong to feel that way, or to think that way, or to move that way. If this is something that's going on between you and another person or a group of people, for example, I don't see groups here, but I do see another individual here that, you know, maybe just because you're moving higher up, like you're becoming more confident with yourself and confident with speaking and like the way you go about contemplating and the way you go about expressing. So I do feel your confidence level is rising there, and I would capitalize on that right now. Like just even if you have to say on some level, you know, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but, or I don't really know how to say this, but, or, you know, I've just had this, I had this idea, or I had this notion, or this really occurred to me, or I saw this and I heard this and I thought of you. Like there's sort of like a humble way to go about it, or even a playful way to go about saying something you need to say here. But all the same, let's move on to some other energies here. So we do have something balancing itself out, and this is what I see here. So these are all in very distinct positions, as I mentioned, and we'll go over that in just a moment. But in terms of like reading not diagonally, vertically here, it's like you're going to find a balance with this. This is going to balance itself out for you. This will be shown to you. This will be provided to you. There could also be Libran energy or a Libra in your environment as well. Or you could have Libra that is strong in your own chart in the first 5 planets. Libran energy, of course, it's the scales, it's the balance. It's also an air sign, so it would be a very easy energy for you to work in and around. And here we have this really gorgeous, stable little 3 of Pentacles, and of course we have the 3 of Wands following that. So And then as you noticed, when the jumper cards were coming out as I was shuffling, there were a lot of emotional cards. They, as you can see here, they're not showing up in the energies for the month, but I do believe that was a lot of underlying energy to this. For example, there was a lot of emotional maturity, like there's a development there. And this is really gorgeous. This is a new opportunity. So here's where I'm seeing like a new way for you to be able to address something that probably means a lot to you. Anytime we're dealing with pentacles, we're dealing with, you know, the five senses, the practicalities, the real world. So this could be really important to this person or this entity or this energy, or even the prospect of you being able to develop your mind and your communication style, or the way you go about assessing information, etc. Like you want to put it into practice, or you want to be able to utilize it in some way here. And I think that you'll be given an opportunity to do that here. And then with this gorgeous Three of Wands, this is you about to embark on something really fruitful, really exciting. We do have, where did I see the 3? We have 1, 3, a 7, and a 6. Then we have a 2. So some energy around balance. We do have a youthful energy here as well. This could very well be, for some Aquarians watching, this could be a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn in your environment, or that could be energy that's coming out of your own chart. And it's probably youthful energy. So either someone who's younger than you, or it's the beginning of something. It's the start, like you're putting this concept or idea or language or communication style into action here for the first time. And it's going to make a dent, right? Anything in Pentacles is going to make a dent. So this is going to make an impact. So that's what's going on. That's what I'm seeing here with our little snapshot of what's going on. Let's look at these cards individually in their respective positions. As I mentioned, we do have the Knight of Wands here as underlying energy. Really beautiful, potent energy. As I said, this is very life-affirming energy. This is Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries energy. This could be one of those signs in your environment as well, or it could be energy that you're tapping into. It's just really passionate. It's really passionate. It's a go-getter energy. It's very confident, but it can be a little bit short-sighted. So there could be some, like maybe what's going on here with this sort of like, how do I go about this? Or is there a right or wrong way? I mean, it could just be about like, you know, how do I temper this? Especially with the justice, especially with, you know, a sense of balance underneath this. I think this could be your major concern around this energy. It's very, very exciting energy. But yeah, it could feel like it could, on the one hand, it's exciting. It's like, oh, this is wonderful. This is passionate and explosive and exciting. And on the other hand, it's like, hold your horses. Like, I don't know if I'm mentally prepared for this, or, you know, let's just not get carried away, that type of thing. So, and I think you have your finger on the pulse of that. Like, I'm not too concerned that you're not going to be able to see through that or figure it out, just because your past energy is already having, for the most part here, already having dealt with the immediate concern around it. Like, I don't think you're afraid of this energy at all. It's just about like, well, what do you do with it now type thing. Here with your heart of the reading is the Seven of Swords. As I mentioned some major terminology around the essence of this card. So it's really just about how you're going to apply that now. Again, this is a general reading, so only you can apply this to a specific situation or concern in your environment. But, you know, if it has to do with trickery or even thievery, I would just like check yourself. If it has to do with energy that you're surrounded by, or even another person, heed your intuition at this time. Like, don't believe everything you hear would be another. Especially if you feel rushed, especially if there's a rush on, you know, sexually or in a commitment, or really just any area of your life here. Like if you feel like we need to temper this, we should maybe find balance right now. I don't, it all sounds really good type of thing. Like maybe just take your time with something here. within your own mind or with a communication style. Here with your Six of Swords, this is preceding this whole row. This is your past energy. And this is literally taking what you had already learned from a situation. So taking evidence or lessons or, you know, even concepts like belief systems, etc. Like anything that's going on in the mind or a communication style, and walking away from something, or sailing, as it were, sailing away from something that isn't working for you anymore, but taking those lessons with you. Like this, because of this trial, because of this situation, whatever it is that you're moving away from here, it served you in the long run. So make sure that you keep these lessons and use them to your advantage. Here with your present is the Justice. Something is going to be balanced out for you. Something is going to, usually when this appears, especially in your present, this is turning out in your favor. It is right below this very passionate Knight here, the Knight of Wands. So it could very well be that if this is a person it's a person who probably has Sagittarius or Libra strongly in their chart. You're probably a nice fit for each other, or you're probably able to communicate pretty easily. If this is strictly, you know, the energy of the Justice card, then I would suggest that it'll be really easy for you to figure something out here. Or this person or this energy could even be the impetuous to finding out how to find balance. In fact, it might even be said that you need for something to feel a little bit out of control right now in order to create a new balance with it. This is a court card, right? So it's almost like you went from the Ace all the way past the 10 up here. So like this has been growing, this has been developing for quite some time. So it's like, oh, good. Okay, now we have some balance. Now we know how to use it or how to apply it type thing. Here again with your future is the Page of Pentacles, as I mentioned. It does sit under the Seven of Swords. So yeah, I think you're going to be able to communicate something that's important to you in a very practical way, and it's going to be well received, and it's going to make an impact here. If this is another person, a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn individual in your environment who does appear in the future for you in the month of July, this person will tend to be younger than you or exhibit behavior that's that you would consider youthful or immature. Not a bad thing. It's just not a mature energy. And here with the Three of Wands, this is you're setting sail for something greater. Your ship has come in. You know what you want, right? And now you know that it's just so much a matter, an equal matter of receiving, right? And acting. So you've made a decision. Your 2 was like, I'm going to focus on what I need to do. And then the 3 is saying, I'm going to embark on it. In that regard, it's a little bit similar, for example, say to the Fool. The Fool has much more potent energy. This is really low in the totem here with the 3. And also there's not that essence of like ecstasy or divinity there. This is really just you stepping out, like trying something maybe new, putting something that finally has some balance, or at least that is comfortable to you here. You know, you can act on that. You can move in that direction now, or you simply just feel more confident moving in that direction. And it is the same element as the underlying energy. So it probably has to do within that energy framework as well. So, you know, the world of doing and behaving. So it's like a behavior card. It's an action card. Building, another beautiful thing to have here for you as well. For an additional message, you do have the beaver. Of course, the beaver is the builder. It's also the national animal of Canada. So if Canada means anything to you, just throwing that out there. But they're an incredibly industrious animal. They're incredibly family orientated. They are exceptionally brilliant at building like indestructible dams, as you probably know. They're tough. They're tough little critters. And I don't know, if you're curious, for the heck of it, look it up. Like, beavers have built dams that have stretched like for miles. So this entity or this energy is something that could be in it for the long haul. There's some really earthy energy here. But builder, yeah, what are you building? What are you working on? What are you working toward? What's your effort going into? What do you want to build? Does it look like your daily habits? Are you working toward that now? Some other themes here. I don't see any mystery cards for you here, so that I don't think you're building a mystery, nothing that's overarchingly difficult to talk about or anything overarchingly difficult to achieve. Frankly, I think that you're probably in a very nice, beautiful element for yourself, and you're learning how to achieve your own desires in a way that is balanced for all involved. So the only caveat, the only thing that's tripping me up at all is if there's any element of trickery or deception. I think that's the only caveat with this whole reading. As long as you're not doing that to someone else, they're not doing it to you, or God forbid that you're doing it to yourself, then I think you're in clear waters. I would keep going, stay the course. You're building something beautiful here. If you don't feel comfortable with that phrase, or you don't feel that's speaks to you right now, it might be a nice time for you to get in touch with what your goals are. 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, 5 years, that type of thing. You don't have to be strict and crazy about keeping that exact goal 5 years from now. The whole point of goals is just to create something to work towards. So it's just like, what are you working toward? What are you building? Yeah, we also have another 2. So we have 22 here. We have 2. So the main theme, if I could narrow it down to a word for you for July, would be balance, Aquarius. And then here we have, you deserve love. You are lovable. I do think you need to be reminded of this. I do think if this is an element of passion or of touch or connecting with someone in a profound way of the mind, finding balance within relationships, within your own mind, within the direction that you're taking, I wouldn't worry about finding love or being deserving of love, but I do think that this card shows up when people are feeling lack in their lives in any way. So for couples or those dating, if you're finding something difficult here, especially an issue of communication, if you're finding someone isn't keeping up with you or doesn't recognize how profound you're trying to communicate something, then maybe there's a different way to get it across. Maybe you can ask what the problem is. I think that this Justice card is going to add a great deal of problem solving energy here. I think you're going to be able to problem solve because you can make out that balance really easily, Aquarius, because you understand the other person, right? So that's a large part of it. Like, understanding the other person and their point of view can help you gauge how to behave and how to act and what to say, and etc. And then if you're into creative endeavors or any projects here, have faith in yourself, okay? Don't give up on something that you have been working on or have been building. If this is what this is about, for example, if you've been working on something and you're like, I'm not too sure anymore, it doesn't look like it did at the beginning, maybe you're reassessing those goals, for example, and you're just being hypercritical of yourself right now, I would say that's not going to help anything. Don't do that. Take stock of what's going on, but don't beat yourself up about this at any level. And you do deserve love. If you feel shy about reaching out, if you feel shy about following through with a project or a plan or commitment or a conversation, again, whatever that is for you right now, I think if you have some faith in yourself, you'll be far better able to address the situation head on in a meaningful way that has a nice outcome for all involved. So that is your reading for the month. I really hope that you enjoyed that. As always, I really appreciate your comments. So thanks so much for letting me know how it works out for you. Thanks again for subscribing to my channel, liking and sharing my videos, and for your encouragement to keep doing this work. I really appreciate it. So So until we meet next time in a couple of weeks, take excellent care, Aquarius. Bye for now.